Good evening and welcome to the evening news for today, Tuesday, August 29, 2023. I am Jemima Holmes. Thank you for tuning in. Now let's take a look at some of the lead stories tonight. Former British PM Tony Blair lauds Guyana's economic progress, oil resources management. Guyana pushing for US $70 per ton carbon credit price on world market. Guyana's first Rainforest Research Center to boost biodiversity conservation. I will embrace from bottom up, says President Ali on relations with opposition. And almost 1 week later, police urge to intensify probe into murder of mother and child. Now for the news in detail. Former British Prime Minister Tony Blair, who is visiting Guyana, has lauded the way the country has been managing its oil successes, which he said is contributing to the nation becoming one of the world's most exciting destinations. Gerald Bryan reports.
Former British Prime Minister Tony Blair held a discussion with President Dr. Irfan Ali in the University of Guyana, UG George Walcott Lecture Theatre on Tuesday morning. The former Prime Minister lauded Guyana's transformation from the 1990s when it had to restructure its economy.
What brings me here is a very simple thing, which is this country has come through some very difficult times back in the 1990s, very tough economic situation. A country that was very poor at that time had to stabilize itself. In 2009 came out with a remarkable initiative, really, on the low carbon development strategy in the rainforest. And then, in one of these strange twists of fate, is destined now to become a major oil and gas producer.
According to Blair, the PPPC government has been approaching the management of the oil and gas sector in a careful manner.
I think Guyana, because of the enormous opportunity and the consequent challenge, and the way the government's approaching it, which is very careful and deliberate, and learning the lessons of similar countries that have been through these types of process and how they avoid the errors and embrace the successes. I think Guyana is going to be one of the most, if not the most exciting place on the planet.
When it comes to Guyana's rainforests, Blair noted the enormous potential it held to learn from and promote education. The former British PM and President Ali had met when the Guyanese head of state visited the United Kingdom earlier this year for King Charles III's coronation. During his visit to Guyana, Blair is also expected to visit a number of infrastructural projects. So far in Guyana, Blair has already engaged in discussions with President Ali and his cabinet at State House. Gerald Bryan, The Evening News.
Guyana remains a staunch advocate for a better price for carbon credits on the world market, with President Dr. Irfan Ali revealing that the aim is still to push for US $70 per ton as the carbon credit price. Gerald Bryan joins us again with the details.
President Dr. Irfan Ali was at the time participating in a discussion at the University of Guyana with visiting former British Prime Minister Tony Blair. In response to a question about balancing development with protection of rainforests, President Ali noted that there currently exists a severe financing gap. He pointed out that the region requires $2.3 trillion to achieve the essential sustainable development goals by 2030. Guyana, according to President Ali, faces further complications when the underwhelming prices for carbon credits on the world market is considered.
We are blessed with a lot of natural resources. But if you have a country with a standing forest, and there is no market for the standing forest or what is standing, the value of the standing forest, the people in that country still have to eat. The people in that country still require development. Then what decision confronts the people of that country? So what is very critical, as all the studies will have shown, and I have said it, that for us to achieve the transition we want in energy, and for us to achieve the shift in development focus, the carbon price now should be $70 per ton, $70 US per ton. It is not even $7. And that is why the market is so important, the market mechanism. We have to fix that fundamentally.
According to the President, the region as a whole must collaborate in order to fix this fundamental pricing issue.
Unless we are able to fix the fundamentals, this question and this balance would continue to confront us. How is it we're going to get the world to agree that the price for a carbon credit based on what we want to achieve, net zero, must be $70 today? Are we willing to make that bold and important decision?
In December 2022, Guyana signed a contract with Hess Corporation, which will see the nation earning US $750 million for 30% of its forests within a 10-year period. In Guyana's agreement, a rate of US $15 per ton of carbon was secured, and so far, 15%, $4.7 billion, is allocated towards Amerindian development. Jarrell Bryan, The Evening News.
Located about 2.5 hours away from Georgetown, the Sapphire Point Rainforest Research Center aims to serve as a hub for research, education, and training of stakeholders seeking to fight against climate change. Details in this Pooja Rambaran report.
The Sapphire Point Rainforest Research Center is co-founded by United Kingdom, UK parliamentarian David Lammy, who is of Guyanese heritage, and his wife Nicola Green. During the inauguration ceremony at the University of Guyana, Lammy on Tuesday explained how this solar-powered, environmentally conscious center, situated at the confluence of the Essequibo, Mazaruni, and Cuyuni rivers, will work to protect and better understand Guyana's rainforests.
The center will make the environment more accessible, providing a platform for students particularly, academics and researchers, to study this overlooked and undervalued country, a location which offers potential for terrestrial, freshwater and marine research, but also a site to facilitate education beyond the biological sciences, to engage with local and indigenous communities, music and arts, and to tie into the existing vibrant and committed community of conservationists in Guyana, amplifying efforts already underway.
Lammy noted that Sapphire Point will add to the forest research and conservation efforts already being done through the Iwakarama Research Center. He further expressed the need to build capacity to deliver a sustainable future for Guyana's rainforests as per the Low Carbon Development Strategy 2030. This, he noted, should be achieved through collaboration, not competition, working with the likes of the Protective Areas Commission, the Guyana Marine Conservation Society, the South Rupununi Conservation Society, World Wildlife Fund, and the surrounding Amerindian communities.
At its heart, Sapphire Point is about building capacity in this great country. If you look around the globe at comparable countries, you can see what the standard is. Costa Rica, a country 4 times smaller than Guyana, has 44 research stations. Panama, a country 3 times smaller than Guyana, has 12 interconnected sites just run by the Smithsonian Institute alone. Both countries represent 60% of the size of Guyana. So Guyana deserves more.
Pooja Rambaran for the Evening News.
Under the government's cage culture fishing project, the Region 2 community of Kapui has now set its eyes on a larger market after successfully harvesting a first batch of Tamboke fish. Kamesi Slow tells us more.
Last year, the Ministry of Agriculture deployed marine cages to Lake Kapui in Region 2, Pomeroon Supernam. And about 3 weeks ago, the first of 3 batches of the Tamboke fish were caught, and the community has successfully sold approximately 63 at a cost of $80,000. This was revealed by Councillor in charge of Tourism Jamal Alikok during a telephone interview with the Evening News. According to him, the community had received 8,000 fingerlings from Brazil for the first batch. However, they were significantly small, and some of them did not survive the end of the harvest.
I have three cages. Each cage have different size, or you can say different batch. So one cage have fingerlings, one cage have medium size, and one cage have the big ones. Alright, so the big ones, yeah. So the project is like 98% feasible, because we have good we don't have 100% survival rate, but we have at least 48 survival rate. Because the first batch of fingerlings, we got 8,000, right? And out of 8,000, just over 100 survived and was able to grow into 1 pound, a pound and a half, the biggest.
He further noted that when the project first started, they experienced challenges with the inconsistent water flow, which resulted in the cages being clogged with moss.
The water wasn't flowing the much, and the cage was getting a lot of mass and so on. So they had to be cleaning the cage like every week or every 2 weeks. And well, the first problem was that the first batch was too small, or the fingerlings were too small, and the traveling or getting them here, I think, was a rough journey.
According to Alicock, in the future, the project will be expanded to other areas and eventually to larger markets out of Kapui and in Guyana. In addition to Lake Kapui, Lake Minstay, also in Region 2, was also selected for the cage fishing trial. I am Kamisi Slow reporting for the Evening News.
Coming up, almost 1 week later, police urged to intensify probe into murder of mother and child, and firefighters not solely reliant on water in their tanks, says Fire Chief. Do stay with us. More news ahead.
Premier insurance coverage for less. Stay safe.
On the job, you know how it goes. 1 minute everything's going right and the next something goes wrong. Don't worry, Premier Insurance will make things right again. For all risks insurance, call 223-0840 or visit premierinsurance.gy. Fuel your success. Premier Insurance coverage for less.
Need to take an HIV test, but worried about your privacy? An HIV self-test is for you. First, I press the flat pad firmly against my upper gum and swap it. Then I do the same for the lower gum. Next, I place the flat pad into the tube and leave it there for 20 minutes before reading the results. I got my accurate result in minutes in the privacy of my own home. That's it. Quick, easy, and convenient. It's better to know now rather than later, so you can start treatment if you are positive. Get free HIV self-test from the National AIDS Program, Hatfield Street, Georgetown, and voluntary testing and counseling sites countrywide.
This PSA was made possible through a partnership between Guyana and the American people through PEPFAR.
Superbet, your best bet. Bet as you enjoy your live matches today. Place your live bets at www.superbet.gy on any of your favorite matches and watch your winnings grow. Must be 18 years and older. Terms and conditions apply. Play responsibly.
Hello, I am Dr. Shanti Singh Anthony and the coordinator for HIV Knowledge Management for the Pan-Caribbean Partnership Against HIV and AIDS. HIV self-test are now available in Guyana and other Caribbean countries. The HIV self-test is accurate and a reliable way to take control and know your status. Your result is available in about 20 minutes. The HIV self-test is accurate, and so if you test positive, I recommend that you seek HIV treatment as early as possible. Get free HIV self-test from the National AIDS Program, Hatfield Street, Georgetown, and voluntary testing and counseling sites countrywide.
This PSA was made possible through a partnership between Guyana and the American people through PEPFAR.
Welcome back. You're watching the Evening News. Almost 1 week after a mother and her child were found brutally murdered in their Rose Hall Town home, police are yet to make a major breakthrough in the case, prompting family members to urge the authorities to intensify their investigations. In fact, as we hear in this Andrew Carmichael report, family members are accusing the police of looking in the wrong direction.
It was on August 23rd that the bodies of 31-year-old Melissa Arokium and her 8-year-old son, Anthony Arokium, were discovered at their Mangrove Street Rose Hall Town home in Berbice Region 6. Within 2 hours of the discovery, police told the media that 4 persons of interest were taken into custody and had been assisting with the investigation. The police said those arrested were Sorana Arokium, called Foodie, a 33-year-old cane harvester, and a brother of the victim, Melissa. 2. The brother that discovered the body of the victims, Nicholas Arokium, called Nico, a 26-year-old vendor. 3. The boyfriend of the victim, Selendra Umra, a 37-year-old of Belvedere Quarantine, Berbice. And 4. A neighbor of the victim, Dio Naris, 38-year-old DJ. However, family members say police never arrested Nicholas Arokium. In fact, police on Friday evening said that he was still in custody, but family members say the man had spent the past 2 days plying his trade as a vendor at the Rose Hall Town Market.
No, he wasn't in police custody. The police carry the same times with the same brother who was here. The 2 of them. And he come out back.
So he was never locked up, never detained?
No, he was never detained.
The Evening News understands that investigators had also arrested a cousin of the now dead woman, and that information was withheld from the media. The cousin was subsequently placed at the National Psychiatric Hospital. The Evening News also understands that the cousin has a close relative who is a part of the investigating team. Those who were taken into custody have since been released. However, there are reports that as the investigation continues, a 5th person was taken into custody. Meanwhile, relatives of the deceased are of the view that investigators might be focusing in the wrong direction. The 72-year-old grandmother says there needs to be deeper digging.
I hear how the bystanders get mad with she because of the little boy. The little boy just tell the uncle them that how the boy was vexed when he got near she, and he just say, she just tell the boy, if you want to talk to me, you got to talk to Nicholas first. You got to talk to Anthony first. If you want to talk to me, talk to me first. If you can come near me.
The now dead woman's boyfriend, Selendra Umra, says he last visited the woman's home on Tuesday, where he saw Melissa crying. When he tried to find out what was wrong, the woman did not provide any details. The two had been seeing each other for the past 3 months. Family members say the now dead woman and one brother recently had a misunderstanding over an unpaid electricity bill. Arokium shared a building with a brother, but they lived in separate apartments. Meanwhile, police had also arrested a neighbor. There are reports that the said individual once tried to break into Melissa's house.
No, we are not satisfied. We are, I don't know what to say, crazy about it. Because the first thing that gets me crazy is when I see my granddaughter and on the ground and them chaps this on his skin, and then show the boy on the bed too with all the eyeball and thing. I feel it, I say, If the police ain't giving nobody chance to go in the home, then who get the permission and who can get the time to take out this picture and set it online how the setting? I never see no more of that, so let us black off people's face.
Meanwhile, a candlelight vigil is planned for Thursday. The mother and son are expected to be laid to rest on Saturday. For the Evening News, Andrew Carmichael.
President Dr. Irfan Ali says he will promote his agenda of building a One Guyana from the grassroots level, with hopes that those who sit in high offices within the opposition camp will eventually get on board. And according to the head of state, he is already winning the support of a number of communities that are considered to be opposition aligned. Here are the details from Luanda McAllister.
My work with the opposition is my work with every area conceived or perceived to be an opposition area. That is why I will go to every community and I'll meet the people directly. I'll win from bottom up. I will embrace from bottom up. If the top doesn't want to embrace, the bottom is embracing beautifully. And that is what I want. I want the bottom shift. Any foundation that shifts, the top will have to shift. And the power of the bottom, the power of the people at the grassroots, the power of that foundation is shifting. And that shift would eventually cause those even though don't want to shake hands properly.
President Dr. Irfan Ali on Monday, when approached by journalists about reaching out to opposition leader Aubrey Norton. In his response, he referenced the incidents in August 2022 when Norton refused to shake his hands at the Emancipation Day event in New Amsterdam, Berbice. Norton later told his support base that he does not shake hands with his oppressor. There was another incident at the British High Commission's residence where Ali and Norton shook hands, but the opposition leader later told the public that he was bullied into shaking the president's hands. But nevertheless, President Ali was pressed further on the topic.
What stops you from reaching out to the opposition leader directly and say, sir, let's talk?
Why is there something stop me? What stopped him from reaching out?
What stops you too?
I reach out. The man refused to shake my hand twice. What do you want me to do? Bow before him? He's God?
That's the only thing you can do in terms of...
The opposition leader is not God. The first thing you must know, the first thing you must do...
Neither of you is.
No, I'm not. That is why I reached out humbly trying to shake his hands, and he refused. I tried humbly, Chabral, to shake his hand, and he refused.
But that's the only mechanism.
Oh my God. If you can't shake the hands of a humble man, what else would you do? I consult with you and you go to the court to stop the consultation. I consult with you and you go to the court to stop the consultation. Let me give you a third example. Here's the third example. You're a follower of the Bible?
Yeah.
What's the first thing you have to do? Not confess your sins?
Yes.
All I'm asking him to do is confess his sins, and his sins of trying to rig the elections. Oh, is that too difficult? Confess thy sins.
President Ali has since maintained that the opposition must apologize to Guyanese over attempts to derail democracy in Guyana following the March 2nd general and regional elections. Reporting for the Evening News, Luanda McAllister.
Luanda McAllister joins us again to report that the fire service is dispelling rumors that it often responds to disasters without sufficient water in its tanks. In an interview with the Evening News, Fire Chief Gregory Wickham addressed the common misconception by noting that while trucks are filled with water, it is most times not enough to battle fierce blazes.
Fire Chief Gregory Wickham told the Evening News during a recent interview that all fire trucks responding to disasters are filled with water. The problem is, however, that sometimes, based on the size and severity of the fires, additional water supply will be needed.
That's a myth. Each fire tender that goes out there has the capacity of water in it. And the only time you will see a fire tender, or fire truck as you call it, going to a particular fire scene and then going to open source of water, whether that be a canal or an hydrant, is because the first observation is that the water in the tank supply would be unable to extinguish that blaze, the magnitude of the fire. And so we'll have to move to get copious amount of water. So that's the main reason why the fire tender or trucks would divert rather than going straight to the fire scene and using its tank supply, which eventually will be exhausted and we still have to resort to going to open source of water.
In fact, he explained that firefighters are trained to quickly assess the situation at the fire scene and make strategic decisions.
One of these tenders, they have, apart from other pieces of equipment and human resources that are on them, they have a tank that has water with only 250 gallons. Now we have a pump attached to that very tender that pumps at 250 psi per minute. Therefore, it would not take much time for that tank supply of water to be exhausted.
According to Wickham, since his time in office, no fire truck has ever turned up on a fire scene without water. Moreover, the fire chief is encouraging members of the public to familiarize themselves with their local fire stations.
The stations, they are always open for inspection from members of the public, and so I want to invite members of the public at any time, whether that be on holiday, whether it be a weekend, a regular working day, stop by any fire station, ask them to check the tenders, and the firefighters will allow you to check.
President Dr. Irfan Ali has already issued a call for the Guyana Defense Force to partner with other relevant agencies to develop the cluster maps so that when firefighters turn up at scenes, they can expeditiously identify, for example, water sources in any given area based on the information contained in the map. Reporting for the Evening News, Lawanda McAllister.
Leader of the opposition, Aubrey Norton, is calling for a more structured approach to the issue of vagrants in Guyana, which goes beyond just providing shelter. Rupasina Ryan tells us more.
Speaking to supporters in Maryland and the United States on Saturday, opposition leader Aubrey Norton said programs should be introduced to rehabilitate persons facing homelessness. According to him, there are disadvantages with persons becoming accustomed to being housed in shelters.
I believe that we need a structured program to deal with the homeless in Guyana. And not just putting them in shelters, but putting them there and developing programs so that they can stand on their feet, develop themselves economically, and move on out of the shelter. Because there are also dangers in people becoming accustomed to a shelter.
Last year, the mayor and city council was advocating for the establishment of a special unit to rehabilitate social rejects and get them off the streets. At that time, it was highlighted that some of these persons were involved in disruptive activities, which warranted the involvement of the city constabulary. The then traffic chief Ramesh Ashram had also called for the removal of vagrants, citing that they pose dangers not only to themselves but to other road users as well. Rupasina Ryan, the Evening News.
And now for a look at the bridge reports.
The Damarara Harbour Bridge is scheduled to be closed on Wednesday, August 30th at 4 hours and then again at 13 hours for a period of 1.5 hours. Meanwhile, the Berbridge River Bridge is scheduled to be closed on Wednesday, August 30th at 16 hours for a period of 1.5 hours.
Munisar eager to capitalize on GAW women's stint, and Briggs retires from international football. Details of these stories in this podcast sponsored by MacCorp, coming up on the other side of the break.
Entrepreneurs, coconut byproducts are in high demand. How can you cater to that demand? By investing in a coconut shredder from Sylvie's. Guaranteed to increase your output, this 110-volt stainless steel machine shreds coconut in seconds, allowing you to also save on labor and time. From the shreds, you can create coconut powder, oil, milk, etc. Order yours now at sylviesonline.com or at our 31 High and Hatfield Street store.
Did you know that John Lewis Styles carries back-to-school items? Besides clothing and footwear, you can also get lunch bags from $3,500, backpacks from $4,500, and pulley backpacks from $10,995, all for the same price or less than buying online, and it's already here. Also, get a chance to win one RCA tablet every week in August. Enter to win with every $5,000 you spend. That's 4 tablets you can Google homework with. John Lewis Styles. Simply different.
Optic offers great patient care that is tailored for my entire family.
At Optic, a wide selection of affordable optical frames and optical services are available to fit your budget.
At Optic, my family is provided with comprehensive eye examination and access to their ophthalmology services, all under one roof.
Optic takes pride in delivering exceptional customer service and a unique experience to you, our customers.
Optic Vision Care is a company that is Guyanese born and grown that will help you take care of your precious eyes.
Hi, I'm Dr. Leslie Ramsamy. We in Guyana have HIV testing available everywhere in the public sector. But now we want to make it easier for you. We now have self-testing that you can do anywhere. No stress, no fuss. If you want one of these, and we encourage everyone to take advantage of this, come to any of the public sector sites and you will have one free of charge. We do not have to live with HIV and AIDS without help. You can get support from the National AIDS Program on our voluntary counseling and testing site everywhere. Thank you very much.
This PSA was made possible through a partnership between Guyana and the American people through PEPFAR.
Looking to bring your dream home to reality? Or simply taking on a home improvement project? Then National Hardware Limited is where you should start. Let us put that touch to your home. Choose from over 1,000 Berger Paint original hues for any surface. We are known for our trusted brands such as Westinghouse, Philips, Sadco, Rubbermaid, Pyrex, Gibson Home, and so much more. National Hardware Limited, your do-it-best store. Located in downtown Georgetown and industrial site Rhymeville.